All right, we want to take a few moments to tell you about one of our very good friends of the show, Aligned Health Center. Aligned Health Center is the first chiropractic biophysics clinic in Northern Ohio serving patients in Westlake. The team at Aligned Health Center helps patients with back pain, neck pain, migraines, ADHD, digestive issues, sleep disturbance, whiplash, scoliosis, and much more. The mission at Aligned Health Center is simple: to help people in Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. They know what it's like to have constant neck and back pain. It's no fun, and they are here to help. And as a special offer for the Oranges Orange listeners, it's you guys, Aligned Health Center is offering a free exam to our incredible fans. That's right, free exam at no cost just for you. So give Aligned Health Center a call at 440-230-6865 or visit their website at alignedhealthcenters.com to make an appointment and to learn more about how Aligned Health Center can help you. Make sure you mention Oranger at checkout to receive the free offer. Again, that's 440-230-6865 or visit alignedhealthcenters.com.
Part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Forty-five, 50, 45, 40. Run, William, run! He's got blockers in front. 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score. Kick block! They block the kick!
All right, welcome into the Oranges Orange Cleveland Browns podcast. I'm Holly Wetzel. He is Tyvis Powell. What's up, Tyvis? Been a couple weeks. Did you miss me? I texted you that. I was like,
yeah, Hollywood. You know, the problem is you too big time for me now. You know, now you got a lot of things going on at ESPN Cleveland. Now it's just like I can't even really get a hold of you anymore. I feel like, man, I want to do the show. I got some ideas I want to lay down, but we going off a Hollywood schedule, so you know.
Yeah, right. By the way, Tyvis joined a new sports show, actually. So if you want to talk about big time, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Tyvis is a weekly guest on Wednesdays, right? Just Wednesdays so far right now?
Wednesdays, and then any day that anybody else is like needs to be out for a day or is sick or something, I'm the first replacement. So
Ooh, first man off the bench.
Yeah, you know, it's trying to win 6 Man of the Year. I'm on my Tyler Hero stuff this year, you know. That's how I go.
Pretty good. Well, you can watch the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. It's got to give my man over there some plugs. So make sure you watch the show. It's been really good so far. I like it. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, it's it's funny because they did rehearsals like the week prior to us launching, and obviously I couldn't be there because my daughter was being born. So I missed all the rehearsals, and the first day, that Monday I went, I had to fill in for Brad. Me and Brad flipped last week, and we get in there, and none of them ever met me before. So we all sitting there, we do the show, and it's just like everybody after the show is like, man, it's like you was at rehearsal. It's like you just fit in perfectly. I was just like, yeah, man. It's
one take Tyvis.
Yeah, you know, like you ain't gotta stop nothing. And we live, so I can't mess up. So it's like, you know, I do this. I was made for this.
You are. You're blowing up. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, it's only a matter of time before you want to talk about big time.
Yeah, I thought I was blowing up at the end of it. Like everybody was like, wait a minute, you're on the podcast with Holly Wetzel, aren't you? It's like, oh, she's great. And I'm just like, how does everybody know Holly? Right? So that's why you Hollywood right there. That's how you got your nickname.
Well, I told you, I've been working in this business for quite some time, not to age myself, but it has been a while. So I think at some point, I've collected many people along the way. Never burn bridges, you know?
It's been all positive. I'm waiting on somebody to say something negative so I could be like, Holly? Never. Get out. Really?
I'm waiting for that too, because whoever that is, we're gonna have some words. So, then again, actually, I do trust that if someone said anything bad about me, you would be like, hold up.
Yeah, I would be like, hold on now. I got to stop you right there. Hold on. You're not about to just do that. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're yet to get there. I probably won't happen. I don't think you're a mean person. You don't have a mean bone in your body.
I feel like I'm
you might be shy. You shy at times. Like you got guys at the grocery store, that, looking for a nice woman to take out and paint the town red, and you just kind of, I don't know, you like Walt Disney, the situation. You froze up, Holly. Like, I can't believe it.
Hold on a sec. All right. So yes, okay, we're gonna talk about the mystery man at the grocery store for a hot second. So, and I need to clarify because I tweeted about this, and while everyone's like, why didn't you shoot your shot? Like, go up to him. I was in a lane, okay, that made it impossible. So first of all right, I went to the grocery store on Sunday, walking around Giant Eagle and Westlake. I only say that because if for some reason this mystery man is listening, so it's the only way. That's why I went on Twitter. I'm like, was anyone just at this grocery store? So walking around, going aisle to aisle, right? Okay. Made my way towards like the freezer section, that's at the end. Mm-hmm. And we had kind of passed each other a couple times, and he kept looking, like he was looking, but like smiling, just a tad, just like a little crack, but just, and we passed each other a couple different times, but like never, like timing wise in our grocery lines and what we were needing at that time weren't passing or connecting or whatever we want to call it. So then I don't see him, because then I forgot I had to go down. I forgot carrots. So I went all the way back down to the other side of the grocery store, came back.
Healthy choice.
I tried during the week, coming back, and I don't see him. So I'm like, oh, he must be in the checkout line, whatever. Well, then I need to check out. So then, sure enough, he's in the lane next to me, but he's already like scanning the stuff. Okay. There's a lady in front of me, very nice woman. And she's like, oh, honey, just so you know, I have 2 orders I got to get through. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay. And then I didn't want to feel like I could have went maybe to the next lane over, but then I would have been away from him. Maybe I would have gotten done faster, but I was like, I don't know what to do. And so he turned around and looked at me and gave me the biggest smile, and I smiled back, and I was like, oh my god. And then thought that he was going to possibly wait, but here's the thing. It took this woman, God bless her, like at least 10 minutes to get through both of her orders. And it was like, I'm like, lady, you're killing me. Like losing my chance. And sure enough, like I walked out, I didn't see him. I mean, it was at least 10 minutes, if not 15 minutes. I'm like, there's no way this dude would have waited that long. I wouldn't have. And so there he goes, mystery man out into the abyss. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to go back to the grocery store at the same time next week.
This is really a sad story. I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad for you, because it's like, you got your hopes up on something, and you build up the courage to finally, and then it's unfortunate. But you know what? If it's meant to be, you'll run into him again. It's not, the world is not as big as we think it is. It's you tend to run into people again in life. So if you run into them again, just make sure. I don't care if you at the Progressive Field and you see them on the other side of the whole stadium. You better make your way over there. How
do you think I run 5 days a week, Tyvis? I'm gonna get my ass rolling if that's the case.
I told you, the next time you're in a grocery store, you see somebody like that and that sparks your interest, you gotta say, excuse me, sir, can you reach this off the top shelf for me? I can't reach it. Yeah. Boom, they gonna grab it for you. Then that right there, that's your end. Like, you get whatever you say after that, that's on you. I'm just telling you that right there is the way to get the conversation started.
You're right. And there was no real opportunity for that, except maybe once when we passed each other. But I got shy, and I got very nervous, and I kind of like looked at him a little and then like turned away, and I'm like, oh my god. And also,
I love puppy love at the early stages. Love the cupcake stage.
Yeah, if it continues. And so now we'll see. I mean, he kind of looked like Jay Cutler. Not that I'm like super attracted to Jay Cutler, but
I was about to tell you, Jay Cutler's, that's your type, huh? You telling everybody on the orange is orange. Or if you have a crush on Holly, just get your hair cut like Jay Cutler, and go ahead and rob the NFL for a couple of teams for some money, and you'll be in there,
Oh my God. Yeah, well, you never know. So we'll see. I will be there probably over the weekend, and who knows? You're right. Maybe this is who I'm destined to meet. So
You know, he probably thinking the same thing. You know, if he probably was like, man, I got to go back there at the same time, same day, and you know, who knows? You never know.
Which has happened actually to me. I met someone, and we actually met at the gym, and I saw him one night. It was kind of the same thing. Like we kind of like locked eyes and he smiled and stuff. And then I remember I went to work the next day and I was like, oh, I saw this guy last night at the gym and he's really good looking and we smiled and whatever. And I'm like, I wonder if he'll be there tomorrow night. And sure enough, I went the next night and he was there. And then we started talking and he was like, well, I came back tonight because I was thinking I might see you again. So it can happen.
That's what I'm saying. People tend to do it. That's tend to be the response by a lot of people. If you see somebody like, you know what, if two people lock eyes and the situation doesn't work, you go back at the same time and hopefully, boom, everybody think the same. So, you know, I'll be praying for you, Holly. I will. Jay Cutler, Jay Cutler's twin brother, if you're out there, please go. She will meet you at the Giant Eagle in Westlake on Sunday. Make sure you be there. Okay, moving on for the love.
I'm a little nervous now. Who the hell is going to show up at the Giant Eagle?
It might turn into an autograph session now. Moving on off the love connection. Let's talk about Browns.
Yeah, let's talk some Browns and sports. It would be nice. You know what, Tyvis, it'd be really nice if this guy and I hit it off and he took me to the Bahamas.
Oh, yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be something? You know, I'm more of a Santorini, Greece man myself, but the Bahamas is nice because, you know, I haven't. Well, Jamaica's not the Bahamas, but you know, I went visit my father. I visited my father twice in Jamaica my entire life, and it's actually not a bad place. You know, it's actually
yeah. I've actually not been to the Bahamas, but I've been to the Caribbean. You know, and but never the Bahamas, which is definitely on my list. But apparently that is where DeShawn is taking pretty much the entire offense on the Browns for some little team building.
Oh my God. You know, if you got it like that, you might as well.
So, Tyvis, question for you.
Yes.
If you are going on this trip with DeShawn and the whole team, okay, you played, what's happening in the Bahamas? Give me the dirty details. What's happening?
Oh, well, they're going to actually start off by doing some training together. That is going to happen. Let's just put that out there. They will be training. They will work out together and they will throw and do all that. Now, after that, it can't just be all work and no play. You know, you tend to find stuff to get into. You know, some people go to Vegas. Bahamas, you know, it's a lot of things you could do in the Bahamas. You go to the beaches and go out to get some food, and that, you know, that they got that stuff going on. You know, I won't get into all of the details of what goes on, but you can. This is single men. What do you think? Like, what do you think? Like, you can use your imagination to think what's going to happen.
I wanted you to tell me something good.
You know, but the team bonding thing is good because when I was with the Browns for my little cup of tea, Joe Hayden and them actually was talking about, you know, after that season, which would have been the 0-16 season, they were talking about how they wanted to do a DB trip. And then when I went to San Fran, which was, I think was after Cleveland, yeah. When Jimmy Garoppolo got paid, he took the whole offense and they went to Vegas. And man, they had the time of their lives. So that going out, taking a team trip to different places and hanging out like that, it really does work for the team building. I actually did watch it because that after that season, Jimmy got paid. The next season, 49ers actually was a pretty good team. So it brings them closer and it works. So I'm excited to see, you know, what happens with the Browns because I think they need, you know, stuff like that. You know, the way J3, because it's J3's exit interview is the thing that sticks out to me the most because he was talking about how they weren't close. It wasn't a close group, and you could blame it on COVID and them having to do virtual meetings and stuff like that. But that was just alarming to me to hear that, you know, they wasn't a close group because I think that's like the ultimate recipe that you need to go to the Super Bowl. When you tend to go out there and play football and you think about somebody other than yourself, you say, I'm gonna do it because I don't want to let the guy next to me down. You tend to play a tad bit harder. I know from experience, like I said, I've never won a Super Bowl, but I did have the privilege of winning a championship in college. So, and I knew that was our recipe. Like I went out there and I didn't think about myself. I thought about not letting my teammates down, and it made me play way harder than I ever thought I would. So I think the Browns are building up a great recipe, and I think it will lead to a tremendous season for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think back like last year, Miles would kind of take that lead, right, on with the defense. And anytime they didn't play well, that following week, he was kind of on them, and he would not totally out them, right, in the media, but would definitely make enough calls and talk about how the fact that they need to get on the same page, and they always play better the following weekend.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think that this is good. It shows leadership, and it shows that he's trying to kind of take command. I just hope that everyone, relatively behaves themselves, right? Like we don't need any.
Him in particular, I mean, he got some stuff going on anyway. So like, I don't, and plus he's in a relationship now, so I don't expect him to do anything wild. He's being looked at with a magnifying glass. So I think he's going to be really kind of chill and calmed on it. Now, everybody else, I can't really speak for. If you single, and they might see a girl in the grocery store at Giant Eagle at Westlake on a Sunday, and they might go for it. So these guys is young too. So if they ain't married,
well, you know what? I would be quite flattered if someone in their mid-20s, hit on me, because I ain't getting any younger, Tyvis.
You want how Holly got her groove back. I see you. Okay. Everybody listen. Now it's an age bracket. If you're listening, if you're under 25 and under now, but legal, obviously legal. That 20, 25, mid-20s up in there, Holly's looking for you.
Oh, Tyvis, we had a good conversation last night via text that we cannot disclose, but we had a good conversation.
I'm trying to help you out.
I know. You are helping me out. You're helping me out. So the guys are going to the Bahamas, but before they go, this has been quite a big week for DeShawn. We are recording on a Tuesday, and the league is set to meet with DeShawn. And it's interesting. When I looked up kind of I started to get kind of lost a lot in the legal mumbo jumbo to that stuff,
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure.
There's a lot. So basically everything I've heard, like Watson would be one of the last, if not the last person interviewed as part of the whole league's investigation. So the fact that we're, hearing that he's meeting with the league to find out some sort of a resolution to this whole thing, then this is, we're kind of at the end.
Yeah.
They've been investigating him for 15 months,
mm-hmm.
a long ass time. And it's interesting because this goes back to, when Ben Roethlisberger was accused of his stuff, and God, who else? I can't think of it right now, but the suspensions came down before. Now they weren't, like Ben, for instance, was not convicted criminally.
Yeah.
For this, and I think it was before he ended up, I don't know if he ended up settling or what, but basically the NFL put their ruling down before. Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand that. Like, not that I don't think that obviously DeShawn is guilty of certain things in my own opinion, but I will say, I don't think it's right to put down any type of suspension or any type of decision on that front without him getting through all of this. Like, I just don't, because you can come back and they can lay on more. I just don't, I don't agree with it. I think that he needs to get through all of this, and I know that it would take a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he should be getting any type of suspension or any type of punishment without seeing this entire thing through. I just don't.
I agree with that. But they were saying that it wouldn't settle all the way until April of 2023. So he would essentially be free to play this whole season, and then have to, if something does come out and they find something, he will be suspended next year, which we're really kind of hurt him more because now you taking away from that big guaranteed contract that he has instead of the little 1 million that he's gonna make this season. So I think it would be more effective. But I think the way the league is viewing it, I think they want to they just want to get it over with. You know, I don't think DeShawn or it's in DeShawn's best interest, which I don't even know if people care about DeShawn's best interest or not, especially, you know, how the women out there that's involved. But I like to go through a season and have to look over your shoulder the whole time. Like, man, I don't know, like, are they gonna suspend me now? Will I get suspended now? Will we get to, I don't know, 2 games from the playoffs and then they throw the suspension out there? Like, so I think the league kind of like, let's just do something. Like, let's just do something to get this resolved and then we can have it done type thing. And I don't know if that's the right way to do it. I'm with you. I think I would rather everything come out and they do a thorough investigation until they can completely figure it out, then hand the suspension down, because it's nothing worse. It was like the Ray Rice thing where it was like, you heard about what happened, and I don't know. I can't remember if the league gave the suspension or not.
Yeah, that's right. That was the other one.
But once the video came out, it made it just 10 times worse. Like, wow. So with the DeShawn thing, it's like the league can handle it, but if something comes out and it's detrimental, it'll make it 10 times worse. It's like, And then the scariest part about it is to switch sports is the Trevor Bauer thing. He's kind of like he's not 22 women. I think it's 2 or 3, but I think legally, I think he didn't get charged with anything, right. But they suspended him for 2 years. So
but he'd already settled too.
Yeah,
right?
So it's like that was 2 years like that. Wow, that's a statement by the MLB. And it's like they made it and looked at the NFL and was like, now what y'all gonna do? Like, y'all got something similar going on, what y'all gonna do? So I hope that they do it right, where they just wait until everything come out, because I don't want them to do something premature and then next year when things settles and they say, well, they were lying. Like, then that would be like, wow, y'all just wasted like 4 or 6 games or whatever the heck is going to be of his career type thing. So I just hope they just get it right.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I feel like it's to put something down on someone where they haven't been criminally charged, okay, and then on top of that, doing it from what's been, I guess, out there in their own investigation, right? I mean, I'm hopefully within the 15 months that they've been doing this, that they're going to have something, right, to show why he has this, why he got this certain suspension. So I guess, Tyvis, what are you thinking? Is it going to be 4 games, 6 games, 8 games?
I think it'd be somewhere in the 4 to 6 range. I think that's because I feel like they have to do something, because if they do nothing, it sends a message to women around the world. It's like, y'all don't hear us type thing. Like, we say things and y'all don't take account for what we say. So I think they have to at least acknowledge women and say, look, we're going to give a punishment. 4 to 6 games, that hurts enough, but it's not fatal. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, it's the difference from winning your division or not winning your division, being a number 1 seed or being the last seed. Like, I think that's, is that significant, but it's not going to cost the Browns their season. Right.
Yeah. And do you think it's coincidence that we play Houston at the end of the season? Oh, it's not. Sure, it's not.
You know they did. Listen, you know that they gotta. They I don't know how they do the scheduling. I really don't. But that's probably on purpose.
Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they're gonna give them the 8 games. Me personally, I think that they are gonna have to try and set a precedent with this. And they have missed certain things in the past. I want it over with too.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. I know the league does, and maybe that's what they're going to push, right? For him to, if they're going to do these 8 games or give him the full, whatever that is. It is 8 games, right? Or they could do it for the whole year, right? There's no real.
It ain't no limit. They could get Trevor Bauer if they wanted to. Like, it ain't no limit.
I didn't know if it depended certain league by league, but if they do this, then I mean, I would just rather it obviously be over. And I think if they push and they try to push, if they don't try to push and they try to give him the full suspension now, I don't know how much that's going to influence him to settle, right? Like, is it going to push him to settle quicker? And I know he's not settling.
I want to say, I don't think he's settling. Like, I don't, because he
would
wants
this
he
may prompt him to want to settle is what I'm trying to get out.
I don't know. I think he's very adamant about proving that he's innocent, and I don't think he's really trying to settle for anything less than him proving that he's innocent. Now, whether he is or he isn't, that's yet to be seen. But he's fighting it. He's fighting it, because a lot of people will be like, you know what? Here, let's just get it over with. But he's like, nah, he really fighting it. So I mean, it make you wonder, like, man, it gotta make. I guess I don't know. It's too much. Yeah. I don't know who to believe.
It is a lot, and so and there's so many like little details with this trial, like. I read today that there's no court order in place preventing the deposition transcripts from being out to reporters, out to the public. So the lawyers can share any or all or even some of the information. So, they're putting out, like, I think the one woman was the first woman to come out and say anything. Like his lawyer put out, her lawyer, I should say, put out that Tony Busby is his name, that DeShawn made her cry. And so they're like leaking this stuff. It's wild to me. I could never be a lawyer. I feel like there's too much. I give credit for people being able to do this stuff. But I found that pretty interesting. So we'll probably have little pieces and more things kind of coming out. The fact that none of that's really sealed. And then because of the schedules of everybody, they're not coming to agreement on a bunch of issues. They're in this deadlock now. So that's why, yes, it's getting pushed. All trials probably until April of 2023, because they're not going to have a time, or they're not going to agree on anything to get anything done before the season starts. I think everything has to be settled by like June 1st, and that's not going to happen. So, also, he has to, I found this interesting, and maybe I did know this, but maybe I didn't really let it sink in. He has to, because if he's fighting every single one of these, he has to respond to each allegation individually, which means 22 separate cases, 22 separate juries, all of that. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, that would be exhausting. So we'll see if he still holds up to this, but I don't know. Maybe the NFL's like, look, you settle, we won't give you so many games. Who the hell knows what's going on? I don't trust the NFL. So,
well, okay. There's that. That's yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
So there's that.
There's that. Well, right?
I mean, the NFL is not perfect by any means.
Well, see, yeah. You never know. Would that ever come out? No, of course not. But I could totally see that possibly happening, because that's just what would. Okay. And also, if he does, by the way, do all of these 22 cases individually, this could go on years past April, 2023 or whatever. Like, it could go on for years after. So I don't know, man. I think he's got to make a decision.
Yeah, it's a lot though. Like, that's his life. Like, that is his life. And do you want something like this over you, like, for the rest of your life? Like, every time his name is brought up, like, that's what somebody's gonna say. Like, I think that is kind of worth fighting for. Like if somebody say Tyvis Powell, every time you hear Tyvis Powell, it's, oh, you 22 women. Like, yeah, like, I'd be like, no, like, especially if it really didn't happen, I would fight it too. So I get it. I totally get it. Like, you're not, for the rest of my life, you're not about to keep telling me that. So,
well, that's why I can't wrap my head around him getting something before, and that goes for him and anyone else. it's not done. And maybe the NFL's investigation is done, but clearly there's other things that can come out. Like, I just don't, that doesn't make sense to me. I understand why they want to do that, but at the end of the day, I still don't think that that's how he's getting tried for something that he hasn't even been, fully vetted from on a legal standpoint when it comes to the civil cases, at least. So anyway, well, let's talk about players that will that actually have left us after the draft.
Yes.
So we said farewell to Jarvis Landry.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
What are your thoughts? Are you sad? Did you want to try and bring him back?
I personally would have liked to have brought Jarvis back. Not for the 10 million. If he would have took the 6 with us, I would have took that deal with him. I just think with the young wide receivers, I think that leadership is needed. Now, granted, him going to New Orleans, like that's a great spot for him too, because of the attitude that he brings. And like I say, at the end of last season, he showed that he still very much can be a effective wide receiver in the NFL. So I would have liked to see him come back to the Browns and running back, but I'm actually happy for him that he is going home. You tend to play a tad bit harder when it's your hometown. Plus, being around Mike Thomas and Chris Olave, go Bucks. I think he won't have to worry about being the man. He'll be obviously Mike could get a lot of attention. He can be the second or third option, and he can still eat because he needs to have a big year to potentially get another contract because he's on a prove it deal. So yeah, I think the Browns will be all right. I like the David Bell pickup. I think he's essentially what Jarvis is. I don't know what his attitude is like, but I think he could be productive on the field. I know he could be productive. I mean, I watched him for 2 years because obviously they played Ohio State, so I watched him. He's definitely could be productive.
Yeah. And I mean, with now depending on DeShawn if he plays or not, but obviously he will eventually. He's that type of player, right? He's at that caliber where he makes other guys around him good. So I think the need, right? We always want the top elite receiver or two at least. But these guys, maybe over time and working with him is going to make them better, because you play better when you're playing with, the elite. So play better when you're playing with better people. So
absolutely. I mean, he's definitely going to elevate that game. The interesting thing that strikes me the most about the Browns this offseason is the fact that they have decided to go straight African American in the quarterback room, and I think that's it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I obviously, me being African American, I would love to see that pan out really well for the good guys. So it's just very interesting. Like,
do you think what type of dynamic? Do you think it's going to be a better dynamic? Do you think? I mean, what is we're in that locker room? I mean, what does that do for those guys?
It's really not about the skin tone at the quarterback position at all. I think it's all about the person. Is it a guy that you'll ride for? Is it a guy who basically you've watched go through adversity and he found a way to shine. He found a way to get things done. Is he a leader? Is this a guy that you'll go into war with? Is he a frontline general? Like that's what you want at the quarterback position. Obviously, DeShawn Watson, he proved that a couple of times in Houston, not having an offensive line and still making things work with them. And yeah, I mean, I think they definitely arrived with him. I think he brings a new energy there. Obviously, it was towards the end of last season, the Browns kind of lost their energy and their mojo. It just seemed like it was a dark cloud in Cleveland in that locker room with Baker there. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Ever since that Odell thing, it was just like a dark cloud on Cleveland. So I think this right here brings new light. It seems like the guys is having a ton of fun there. You hear about this new energy that's going on throughout the locker room there. So I think this is the right decision.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, it'll be an interesting start to the season to see, how many games, how much we love Jacoby Brissett or not. and if you can at least hang in there for a few games to get us.
No, don't do Jacoby Brissett like that now. Because Jacoby Brissett went in Indianapolis. He won games. He sat behind Tom bleeping Brady.
Yeah. So did Jimmy G.
And Jimmy G went to a Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. But he's still not playing right now. I love Jimmy G.
He's hurt.
He's always going to be.
Listen, you mark my word. Jimmy G will be the starting quarterback for the 49ers by the end of the year.
Whoa. If we had like a really loud alarm sound, I guess we got to start getting some sound bites. Taj, let's get that possibly going.
That's where I'm at with it. Jimmy G gonna be the starting quarterback by the end of the year. I think they're gonna realize that they made a mistake. And it's gonna be detrimental too, because like they gave up a lot, but I just think they're gonna realize it was a mistake, and Jimmy G gonna be sitting there like,
no, I don't think so.
I accept all apologies, but let me go ahead and get in there and win this thing.
Yeah, no. But I'm saving that. You saved that clip there, Taj, okay, of what Tyvis said, because we are going to be going back to that when that absolutely does not happen.
Just okay. So. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk some needs on the defensive tackle side, and we'll talk a little bit about Tom Brady. Speaking of Tom Brady, so we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break NBA podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Mike Voorhees.
And I'm Brian Shaw. No, not the pitcher. We're the Guardians of the Land MLB podcast, formerly a Swinging a Tribe.
Don't have time to watch 162 games of baseball? We do. We have you covered with recaps of the games, stats, and analysis throughout the MLB season.
Subscribe now to Guardians of the Land and press play pods for all your Cleveland sports analysis.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
All right, we are back on the Orange is Oranger Cleveland Browns podcast. I'm Holly Wetzel, of course, hanging as always with my man Tyvis Powell over there. So we were just getting through some really tough news with DeShawn, just in general. It's been tough news from the beginning. It's like we're stuck in mud. And when we talked a little bit about Jarvis, we wish him the best, and we need some improvements on the wide receiver position, but
you don't trust the wide receivers there.
Well, not as much, but okay.
How about
I know I trust in Barry and I trust in Stefanski right now. So
I don't think the wide receivers is as bad as we think, because one, obviously the front office at the Browns trust their wide receivers, because they would have made some moves for some if they didn't. Amari Cooper, hands down, is one of the best route runners. He's going to create separations when he wants to play. Let's get that. When Amari Cooper has his mind made up that he's going to go out there and play, he is a hard cover for.
Well, it better be every Sunday
for any corner in the league. Can't nobody really stop that guy. He really kind of stops himself. Okay. DPJ, big body wide receiver. I mean, he got some separation, but at the end of the day, he's a box out type guy. You throw the ball up, he probably can get it. Shorts, he's still a work in progress, but he's still a burner. He had flashes in the season where he made some deep plays. They threw him some over routes. He was able to make it happen. David Bell, college tape, I watched him. This is a guy who went for multiple 200-yard games in college at Purdue. The guy is really good. Like, now, he's not a great driller at all. Like combine was terrible for him, but if you turn the tape on, you cannot deny the fact that he's a great football player. So I think he's a great get. Obviously, Stefanski is raving about him over the past couple of days at the rookie mini camp. So he's definitely turning heads. I think he's a guy that I don't know if he's going to start off right off the back, like just killing, but I can definitely see him progressing into something that will be special for the Browns.
And not everyone, performs their best at the combine. We know that. And they can, like I said, I mean, I do think that when they're playing with DeShawn, and I think when you're, like I said, when you're playing better, when you play with better guys. So I have faith in that. We'll see. I don't know. Last year, maybe I should go in with this attitude.
No. You should.
Wait. Because last year I was like on my fucking wide receiver high horse. Like, who's stacked? Who's stacked? Like, I sounded like a bro, a Browns bro last year, all over that shit. And now,
you wasn't alone.
It didn't pan out. Okay?
See, that's where I'm at with the whole team this year. Like I don't know if we do a record predictions on this episode or not, but I got the Browns right now pegged at 10-7 because I'm not buying the hype or all that. Like last year, the roster looked good. This year, the roster looks good, but I'm not buying. I need to see it put together. I'm not going off of paper anymore. A lot of stuff looked good on paper, and it didn't pan out. So I'm not going. I need to see what they look like together on the field on a Sunday. Then I can be able to give you an accurate prediction. But right now, 10-7 is my Browns record for the this season.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, and especially depending on the number of games that Watson gets. But look, we have a favorable schedule in the beginning, and by the way, I think I'm going to go to Charlotte for the opener, Mike, because
Baker might be there.
Can you even imagine that?
Baker, and listen, Hollywood will be there. If he scores, you're gonna see the red carpet come out in Carolina. Wouldn't that be?
Where do you think Baker is going to be on the roster? I think I asked you this last time we talked now, though, but I'd be interested to see if your opinion has changed. Do you think Baker will be on the roster come August on the Browns?
Well, I don't think he will be. I think the Browns will kind of pull an Odell and just free him type thing. Because I think I think he will be a distraction. Like it will be,
Do you think the Browns even think about him right now?
Huh?
Do you think, I know the Browns think about him, right? But do you really think he's a distraction right now to them? Do you really think that
it's not that he's a distraction to them. It's the fact that you constantly have to answer questions about this man and he ain't even there, but you got to answer. It gets like, dude, let's just move on from that.
Everybody on the Browns needs to settle. Everybody just needs to settle.
Ian Rappaport just came out and just said like the Browns, it's still a strong possibility that Baker Mayfield will be the starting quarterback if DeShawn Watson gets a lengthy season. No, he's not at all. He's not. I don't like. Why would you even say something? He's not at all. Baker will not take another snap for the Cleveland Browns. If anything, he should want to. Like he should want to be that guy to go out there because obviously he'll be playing for another opportunity. He'll show the league that his shoulder is good and that he can go out there and win games because he would probably play whatever the suspension is. If he was to start those games, he would play the best football he could possibly play because he needs to build some capital so he can get up out of there. That's why he would do it. But I don't think nobody's gonna wait that long. I think the Browns is just gonna release him. I kind of do.
Well, and yes, no, he is not going to be playing another snap for the Cleveland Browns. It's not happening. Yeah, that's great that people love to somehow make up storylines to that, and it's not happening. Baker's not that type of dude. You want to tell me that maybe if it was Jimmy G, I would believe that.
You don't think Baker would go out there and play for the Browns?
No.
I think he would, Holly. To be honest with you, I think he would. I think he would.
Why?
Because it would be like the biggest slap in the face. If he goes out there and plays phenomenal and they just, whatever, they go undefeated for the time he's in there, he'll be forever in his mind. He'll say, y'all made a terrible mistake. Y'all have paid this man all this money and blah, blah, blah. Y'all had the answer right here. That's how he thinks. Don't you? Am I wrong? He don't think like that?
He does think like
All
that,
right,
but
he would definitely go
not
out
to
there.
that extent. He would not put on his
go out
pride is too big. Tyvis, his pride is ginormous. Okay, he can't fit his ego through that locker room door. He can't, and that's why he's not in that locker room.
The only
anymore.
reason that I don't think it would be in the best interest is because I don't think they rock with him anymore in the locker room. I don't. So I don't know if they would want to play. I think he would really bring the energy down. That's what I think.
He's not playing again.
Hey, listen. You never say never.
I know, true. But maybe they all need to settle, right? Like the Stefanski and Barry need to settle with
I'm telling
Baker.
you, if they did it with Odell,
cases.
they did it with Odell, they could do it with him too. Just go ahead, just whatever. No, like, come on, babe. Let's just come up with a number on this contract, and we can just let you go ahead. You can sign with whoever, and blah blah blah. We can go about our merry way. But I just don't. I think it's a distraction to me. I think it is. Like, I'm sure they answer questions daily, and his name gets brought up daily, like that. Then you'd be like, come on, man. Let's just get rid of it. Like, let's just get rid. So give me a 7th round, but give me something. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they won't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't envy them at all. In either the positions between, having to answer questions about DeShawn and having to answer questions about Baker. And I know that they're over it. I'm sure that they are. We all are, right? We're all over the Baker thing, but it continues to be a national headline constantly. Dude, it's
like all
ridiculous.
They really kind of getting rid of anything that John Dorsey did to kind of like moving on from. So it's not shocking to me. I'm surprised that the Lions didn't reach out. That's what I think the sleeper team is. The Lions would be the ones that, we give y'all the 7th round pick. Y'all eat 10 million of that 17 mil, whatever the heck it is, and we'll take them off y'all hands.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's been offers, right? And I'm sure they've just not been even remotely. And look, and as time goes on, and we get to training camp and we get to preseason, and I personally think it's going to take someone getting hurt. So, and so I think he will be on the Browns still in August.
During the season.
In August, preseason.
I guess we'll see.
We will see.
We'll see.
So last episode, we did an ode to the left tackle. We talked about the defense, Tyvis, how he, his whole draft lineup and the whole thing. So let's go back and talk a little bit about the defense, Tyvis. A name that has been floating around between us, the Raiders, and the Buccaneers is Ndamukong Suh.
Yes. Wouldn't that be something? You know what?
He's a baddie.
I would take that right there. If Ndamukong Suh could come in. Now, granted, I don't think he's a 3-down guy because he's old now. So, but I think when he's in there for the 1 or 2 downs that he can be in there, I think he could be highly effective. He got that attitude that you want from a D tackle. If he could just be a 80% of what he used to be, that would be effective enough. Of course, if they get Jadeveon Clowney back, that would be a nice, solid defensive line right there. Especially with the young guys that they got in the draft. I think that would be a nice rotation on the D line to have the Ndamukong Suh, the draft guys that you got, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon. That's pretty effective.
Yeah. No, I agree. It would be he put up good numbers last year. He played in all 17 games. He had 27 total tackles, 6 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. So not bad at all for a good 2021 season. So yeah, I'm down, if it's not crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
So
I think
where he went.
To be honest with you, his numbers are probably elevate from that because you got Myles and Jadeveon off the edge. The sack will probably just fall in your lap. Like if you push the pocket up and come up the middle, you got those 2 guys coming off the edge. The quarterback has no choice but to step up. He'll step right up into you, and boom, that's a free sack every time. So anybody who plays defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns, if they get Jadeveon Clowney back at the defensive tackle position, on a passing down, a lot of sacks probably would just fall in your lap.
Yeah. He would definitely fill a hole for us that we're in desperate need of. So I don't know. This is like the fun. I enjoy this time of the NFL season that's not in season, because I like all this. I like the mystery and will he sign, and there's trades and the whole thing.
Listen, Jadeveon, all of them is pulling the vet moves. I didn't think it existed until my boy Sherm put me on. Like last year, it was a bunch of teams that was hitting Sherm up during OTAs, during training camp. Like, come on, let's sign. And he's like, Tyvis, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going out there. I'm not my body. I only got a certain amount of plays and games left on my body. I can't go out there and be wasting them in practice like that. So I think it's a lot of vets that's doing that. Like, I'm not coming to OTAs. I'm about to skip that. I really don't want to do training camp. I'll just be ready week 1 and I'm assigned later. Like, that's what a lot of older dudes do. I didn't believe it until I literally witnessed it with Sherm last year. He literally talked me through it. So it does happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hopefully, that would be a great get for both of those guys, Clowney and Suh. So, all right, before we wrap up, it was also, I worked on the business side of sports. I still do, obviously, but business side of sports for a long time. Always fascinated by television contracts, carriage contracts, all that fun stuff, how networks make their money and the leagues and the whole thing. So it came out, of course, that Tom Brady is going to be a analyst with Fox after he retires.
How much?
It is a $10,350 million contract, supposedly.
I thought it was 375. Is it 350?
Or maybe it's at 375 and for 10 years.
I think that's
375.
I think
Actually, right. And he'll make more with this than he did playing. He'll make $333 million over his 23 years of playing.
Isn't that's something? It's one word. When I hear stuff like that, it's one word that comes to mind. And you know what that is? Blessed. That's what that means. Extremely blessed. But I learned today that the Forbes list came out of the highest paid athletes, and half of them, probably, I think all of them actually, makes more money off the field or off the sport than they do playing their contract. Yeah. So it's not shocking. Tom Brady obviously is a very personable guy. He's a guy that everybody's going to gravitate to, because for him to be this fierce competitor, he's really taken on the social media world, and he's like really good at it. So it's like,
he's funny.
Yeah, he got a nice humor to it, and people is going to listen to him. People's going to listen to the stories. He has stories. He can break down stuff. Obviously, he does it at the quarterback position. He'll break down stuff and see stuff that the average person won't see and give tips. So I think he'll actually excel at it. So I think that's a great hire by Fox.
Yeah, I think he will too. I think it'll create a very large draw. And as years have gone on, he's certainly shown, his personality more and more in everything that he does. And I think it's a great get for them. It's exciting for them. I think it's exciting for ESPN getting Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. I think it's kind of cool that these guys are moving around. I find all of that really interesting. And I'm just ready for football season, man. And I know that it's mid-May right now, but I'm itching for it. That's for sure. And then speaking of Tom Brady, I wanted to bring this up. So he is the executive producer of a new series on Netflix called Groat, and it is the greatest roast of all time. And he's the producer, and he will be, I believe he's the first one that will be getting roasted. And
I just don't know what they're gonna say about him. Like, what?
Do you like roast? Do you like to watch roast?
How do you roast Tom Brady? Like, what do you say?
I mean, there's the deflate gate, right? There's that.
Which he still to this day denies. He said he had no idea. I believe him, Polly. Why would he lie?
I actually do too. Maybe I didn't before, but now I do.
The way he looked, I think he really didn't have an idea that the balls was deflated like that. So I'm not really shocked. So I don't, what you gonna say? Oh, your wife makes more than you. A lot of people will be like,
well, if anyone's listening, Tyvis will never be able to be on a roast because his roasts are
there's no roasting for me. I left. No, to be honest with you, I can crack a joke for sure. It's Tom. I don't know what you're gonna say. The time, like,
I mean, there's things, right? The comedians, they'll come up with a bunch of shit, right? Like I said, the Deflategate, I'm sure they'll come up with a lot of stuff. I'm sure it'll be, Giselle stuff. I think he at one point was not accused or suspected of wearing hair plugs, right? Like I'm sure that'll be a whole thing. He also didn't he do a Skechers line of boots? Was it Skechers?
I hope not. I hope not.
You guys
he doing. I'm wearing his Skechers. He's showing his age.
Maybe I'm thinking I'm Googling this right now. Tom Brady shoot boots.
He ain't doing no Skechers.
Oh, he did UGG. That's what it was.
Oh, you can get away with that. Get away with that. It's Tom.
I'm seeing some of these pictures that
is it the feminine ones? It's the
feminine? Yeah.
Oh, nah.
There's that. Nah. I mean, there's so much. So he's been around a long time, Tyvis. There will definitely be some really great material.
I'll have to tune in to see what they come up with.
Yes, same. I think it's going to be great. So Groat, I think that's fantastic. Greatest roast of all time. He's the GOAT, Groat. So bravo, Netflix. Can't wait to tune in. So, all right. Well, Tyvis, this has been fun. Glad we got to catch up. We will be back probably in another couple weeks here to talk about the latest and greatest. And hopefully we have a little bit more
you'll be telling us
resolution.
You'll be telling us about Jay Cutler, you and Jay Cutler's first date. Jay Cutler Jr.'s first date. It's gonna be a great episode.
I think so. And by the way, too, I wanted to bring up, speaking of meeting people, I got down with my run this evening and I'm coming up the elevator and this guy's in the elevator with me and he's like, "You look familiar." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Where do you work?" And I tell him and he's like, "Oh, no. So you didn't know me from ESPN Cleveland, but Tyvis, he knew me from this podcast and Twitter."
Look at that. You got fans.
He goes, "Are you a Baker hater or a Baker lover?" And I was like, "A hater." And he's like, "Well, how can you be a Baker hater?" And he was like, "I have 5 burner accounts on Twitter." And I'm like, "Oh, so you probably totally came after me on Twitter at some point about my Baker takes." Like, and I'm like, "Also, why do you have 5 burner accounts? 5?
Because people keep blocking the one. The person that he's trying to talk to, they keep blocking it. So he got to make another one. His voice should be heard.
No, it shouldn't. Not if he's being mean. Not if he's being mean. So I told him at the end of the conversation.
Freedom of speech ain't a thing. Ain't that why Elon Musk bought the thing?
I don't know that, and now it's on hold. That stuff starts to go over my head.
We're not gonna go in it. We're not going into it. Thank you.
But I did tell the guy to be nice to me on Twitter. I was like, "Can you just be nice? Like, I'm not mean on Twitter. Don't be mean." He's like, "Oh, maybe." So, but he liked you. You know what? So Tyvis, I finally, if you ever ran into this guy, he would say that he didn't like me. So that is the person that you would run into that doesn't like me.
So I need to come in your building and just ride the elevators and hopefully run into.
Well, yes, possibly. And it will be after our defensive back workout. I was doing those stairs over the weekend, Tyvis. Bleachers.
We'll see. I'm gonna bring the ladder and all that. We gonna get you right. It might not start good, but it's gonna end well.
we're still gonna do that. We need to figure that out. I know you're moving, but we gotta figure all that out.
Oh yeah, I'll be in Cleveland every Wednesday, so it doesn't matter.
That's right. Okay. I forgot about that. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. So check out Tyvis on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. It's really good, and you do a fantastic job. So happy for you there. And make sure to listen to The Orange is Oranger and subscribe on Apple and anywhere podcasts you can find them. For Tyvis and myself, have a great evening, and go Browns.